Hello, everybody. I'm Chuck Gibson. This is Loveland Beacon Talks, special sports edition. Evagoras Papasavvas Race Report with Evagoras Papasavvas, fresh off his Indy NXT racing debut this past Sunday. And Evagoras is here with us right now by telephone to tell us all about what a great weekend. A P2 podium finish, Evagoras. Wow.
I have no words for it, really, because, going into the weekend, I had no idea what to expect, right? We did the test at Mid-Ohio. I knew I had pretty decent pace, considering I'm very new to this car and this series and everything like that. So, to go into the weekend, I've been to this track before. I've tested the USF Pro 2000 here before, so I did have some familiarity with the track, so that definitely helped for sure. Going into the weekend, I didn't really know what to expect, and then being able to finish the weekend off with a P2 finish is really something amazing, and, it just really shows all the hard work paying off, and I'm just really glad to show all the hard work paying off, because it's all worth it at the end of the day.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine, what it means, because you have been so patient. And I'm sure there's sometimes when you weren't really patient, waiting for this opportunity, and then boom, it kind of happened fast after the test session at Mid-Ohio. But I was teasing you, nobody knows this, but so we texted back and forth right after the race Sunday, and I was kind of teasing you with, yeah, you're something of a sponge for sure. So, I know the expectation, somewhere deep inside you had to be thinking, I want to do more than just learn, I want to compete. But again, having the expectation to go, spend a weekend at Barber, do the practices there, do the qualifying there, and then have the best race you can have. But all about learning and being a sponge and lessons learned. But to finish, to have a great qualifying session, like what did it mean to you, even just going back to that qualifying session? How did you feel after that?
Like I said before, it was just really relieving, to be able to get the results that I've been working for such a long time. And, it means even more when you do it on your debut in a series like Indy NXT, which is the premier level of open wheel racing before you make it to the top level. So, yeah, it just meant the world to me. It was unbelievable to even just get that qualifying result, but after that qualifying, everyone's congratulated me and everything like that, but, qualifying is one thing, racing is another, right? We still had a race to do.
You know what? And again, that goes back. You and I talked about this last week. It never surprises me when Evagoras Papasavvas, when you get down to business. So, like you said, qualifying was great, but that's qualifying, and now it's time to get ready for the race. So between the qualifying session that wrapped up Saturday, and then, getting ready to race Sunday morning, what are some of the things? Take us inside the preparation in those last hours before you were, in the cockpit of that car Sunday morning and actually getting ready to race. What are some of the things that you can recall about those last hours after a great qualifying session?
Yeah, so Sunday morning, it was really just all of it, the majority of it, if not all of it, was just talking to the team, talking to the engineers about a strategy for the race. And especially because it was my first time being in this car and doing an Indy NXT race, there's a lot of new things that I needed to learn and I needed to know. That was just the majority of that, just getting us familiar with how the process of an Indy NXT race goes. The biggest thing is the push-to-pass feature that these cars have that's enabled during the race to give you an extra 50 horsepower when you press the button. And the strategy behind it is that you're only limited 150 seconds of usage throughout the entire race, right? So you can't just be holding the button the entire time. You have to strategize it and apply it in the most beneficial spots to give you the most lap time out of it and the most advantage out of it.
Right. That was something I was completely completely unaware of that limitation on push. What do we call it? Like the boost button, or how would you describe that?
Yeah, essentially it is a boost button. Yeah, when you press the button, we get 50 more horsepower. So instead of the 450, you get 500 horsepower. So it's definitely an advantage for sure, but you can only use it for like a few seconds at a time and for 150 seconds throughout the entire race. So the goal is to span that out for the full, in this case at Barber, 35 laps, and to use it in the most efficient way.
Yeah, well, I was trying to figure it out while I was watching the race on television, and so I appreciate your clarity on that. But man, I was trying to figure. So what is this thing? It's the boost button, and Evagoras has how many seconds left compared to? Of course, they were talking about I guess Lockie Hughes and Miles. Is it Miles that was? It was Lockie and Miles that were right behind you. Is that right? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it was Lockie Hughes, Miles Rowe, and then right behind him was my teammate Josh Pearson.
Right. And so, it's very interesting. I really enjoyed down at the very stretch when they said what Lockie had left and what Rowe had left. And then the commentator said, and it looks like Papasavvas has time to counter them with too. So you obviously were very efficient in your use of it as well. So the strategy worked, I guess. Yeah.
The strategy ended up working out, and with push to pass, my first time experiencing push to pass. So it was good. That
was nice. Well, hey, one other thing I really wanted to ask you about too is, maybe the team had a little bit of a mixed feeling. We're all thrilled. I'm sure your team was thrilled that Evagoras Papasavvas in his debut, that you finished second right behind Dennis Hogger. But at the same time, if I'm right, Caio Collet is a teammate. Is that right? Caio's a teammate?
Yes, Caio is a teammate.
Yeah, so I'm sure that was a little bit of a frustration to have whatever mechanical problem he had and to drop back. But hey, the benefit paid, and you didn't blow it for the team. You moved up to that second spot and held off all the challenges. And what a great finish to end up in that number 2 spot on the podium with that's a nice little trophy with that number 2 on it. Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing to be holding that trophy, especially after my first race.
Yeah. So anyway, well, let's again, congratulations, Evagoras. What a great debut. But I know that is that's yesterday's news, and now you're moving forward to this weekend. And this should be kind of, you're pretty familiar with that IMS, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, where you'll be this weekend, right?
Yeah. So Indianapolis Motor Speedway is up next. This is my first time in my career where I've had 2 races back to back. So it's definitely going to be a busy week for sure. But yeah, so IMS, we have 2 races that weekend instead of just one. The first race is Friday at 7 p.m. Actually, I'm surprised it's so late,
right,
considering that we don't have any headlights on our cars.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah. And then the next race is Saturday at 1 p.m.
So, you know what? 2 things you just brought up. One, I forgot about the fact you haven't had back-to-back weekend races in your USF racing experience. So that's going to be a critical thing. Quick turnaround for you. And then as you just said, you guys are going to start at 7 o'clock. Is that a 35 lap race also, or what? Or is it an hour timing, or how's that one work? Do you know?
So it's just like USF 2000, where the laps is different, but the amount of time is the same.
I see.
So it is pretty similar lap time around. So I'd say it's probably going to be the same. Or maybe not exactly the same. Maybe like a few laps difference,
right?
Here and there. So it's definitely going to be, but around the same number of laps.
Yeah, but essentially it's a 1 hour timed.
Yeah, I believe the limit is 55 minutes.
Well, the good thing is, hopefully there'll be sunshine on that day. And as you get into that evening at 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. in Indianapolis, you'll have enough light you won't need to worry about those headlights.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, what do you want to share, or what can you share with us about? Have you had conversations with your team and teammates and your team leadership in preparation for this coming Friday evening? I mean, it's already, as we're talking, it's Tuesday afternoon, so you're just you're like 72 hours, and boom, you're back in the seat at the start line.
Yeah, so I mean, we've just been preparing. A lot of the drivers are already traveling over to Indy, but me living so close, I can stay home for a little bit longer. But yeah, it's we haven't really been. I just got the pre-event notes from the team, so I have to have a look over those a couple times, and the driver notes as well, just like what we would get in USF 2000, and that comes with a lot of simulator time as well that I'll be doing from home. So yeah, just like I said, pretty busy week to balance school from being gone and all my missing work, along with all the preparation for my next race. So yeah, it's going to be a busy week, but I'm excited to tackle it and to go racing again.
Yeah, well, we love that 17-year-old teenager, Evagoras Papasavvas. He's wrapping up the school year and, aiming for another podium finish with 2 races. As you said, the first one is Friday, May the 9th, 7 o'clock from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And then again, FS1 live television coverage, followed by, of course, Saturday, May the 10th at 1 p.m. Actually for the NXT series this year, that'll be the fourth round, because last Saturday was the second. So you get the third round on Friday, the fourth round on Saturday. And Evagoras, not just the best of luck to you on the track, but good luck with everything at school too, and wrap it. This is you're wrapping up the high school, the junior year, correct?
Yep, yeah, wrapping up my junior year.
So, well, listen, we wish you the best in the classroom and the very best on the racetrack this weekend. Have a good safe run in your test and your qualifying, and just have a great run at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Evagoras.
Yep, sounds good. All right, thank you so much, Chuck.
Hey, Evagoras, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us again. And listeners, that was Evagoras Papasavvas on this Evagoras Papasavvas Race Report special edition here on Loveland Beacon. Thanks again, Evagoras. Take care.
Yep, thank you so much. It's a pleasure.